I think I'll do like a quick news update. Oh, let me try and catch. There's a picture of the sheriff and a girl. Now, this is big news the last few days, and I was debating to speak about it. The world news, sadly, one of our fighter jets in training off of the Keys of Florida went down last night, and the two pilots ejected, and but they died, from what I understand. So that's sad news in world news, and the Kara Sands thing is what I want to talk about. Kara Sands is the Nueces County tax assessor, and holds like a couple of key positions in the city, or particularly in elections and all. And we just had our elections in Texas, a couple weeks ago or so. So on that day, there was a young girl. Now the videos are all out, and it's a big thing. I heard the sheriff on Jim Lago's show. I'll comment on a few things he said, but the video basically is of a girl that's bypassing the security at the courthouse. And Kara Sands stops the girl. She's with another girl. You could see it on all the local media. It's on. I watched a couple of clips of it. And so Miss Sands stops the girl and says, "Can I see your security badge, please?" And the girl shows her the badge, and Kara Sands is about 5-6 feet away, looks at it, and then that's fine. She can leave. All right. What that girl did was she filed a report with the sheriff's department, then with the CCPD, then back to the sheriff's department, accusing that Kara Sands touched her breast inappropriately. It was an assault that could actually be considered like a sexual assault, and the young girl is 18 years old. Now, because of all the interviews about this the last few days, the sheriff said they looked at that video, but they interviewed the girl, and the girl was adamant. "She sexually assaulted me, how dare you believe I would ever lie?" At that point, even young girls, people who make false accusations, even if they know they're false, they get offended. Then it's not a matter of, okay, they lied, or this young girl lied about Miss Sands, which it seems as if she did. But then they begin to be offended that they get questioned over the lie. And as they're discussing the case, this girl was adamant. "How dare you question me? She grabbed my breast, she grabbed my breast." Then she filed with the police. The police turned it back over to Sheriff Kalin, and they finally had to arrest the girl last night for filing a false report. And then I believe she's released on bond today, $1,000. Okay. This girl is like the stepdaughter of the lawyer who is trying the case. Miss Kara Sands had a sister who was tragically killed in a traffic wreck. And I remember when that happened, I happened to have been going out to Sandia on the way like to Orange Grove to do one of my Bible studies, and I remember the day. Now, I didn't see the accident, but I remember, all these emergency vehicles are here. And Kara Sands' sister, sad story, but her vehicle broke down on the highway out there, whatever one it is, and she was pushing the vehicle along the side of the highway, and a young man ran into the back of her, hit her, and killed her. All right. They found out that there was no alcohol or anything like that, but they're claiming the boy was texting, which of course is wrong. So they're charging the boy. They're going after him, sort of like an assault, murder, and so forth. Killed her with the vehicle. When you look at traffic wrecks, which I have been to many, I felt, and I commented on this case, I felt they had evidence that he was texting, but I felt that maybe they were going harder after this young man, which is the man who killed Kara Sands' sister. And I just felt just seemed like they're going harder on him. And why? Okay. Mechanisms of injury do I have? I've been to many, many car wrecks, okay, over my life. What you look at, and I've discussed a lot of cases, I don't want to keep going through it. If somebody's texting or whatever, distracted driving, and they go off the road, something happens, it's possible for people when they're stuck on the side of the road to, I don't know all the investigation on this, but it's possible, and there have been many cases where people have been hit and killed, and it had nothing to do with alcohol or any of that. It's because they were stuck in that situation, and maybe they were pushing their vehicle, but maybe they were right in the roadway. Now, I'm not sure what the defense will be, but those things have happened, sadly. And then I've saw more egregious ones over the years that the local county didn't really go after. I simply felt when I commented on that case, it's a tragedy that Miss Sands' sister died, but they overdid it. Okay, what does that got to do with this? The girl that accused Miss Sands of the sexual assault, basically, this girl is like the stepdaughter of the lawyer who's trying the case on this killing, okay, on the boy who killed Miss Sands' sister. Then Jim Lago and the others are also kind of saying that because Miss Sands made the complaint to the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, about voter fraud in Robstown, that they also now have targeted Kara Sands over that issue. Whether all of this is true or not, I don't know. The only thing, though, that is somewhat questionable on this, when this young girl who has got the badge to actually bypass security because she works for that law firm, or I guess stepfather's law firm, when she walked through, Miss Sands did stop her. But then there was a deputy who, as far as I know now, has gotten fired because there was a deputy there working for the sheriff's department there doing security at the courthouse. That girl made the complaint, filed the report, and the deputy verified it. The deputy also mentioned that he had to tell Miss Sands, or he said, no, we've all seen her here before, this young girl. Meaning it's not out of the ordinary for this young girl to have been there, because the deputy himself said, no, she's sort of like a regular that comes in, is working with these legal cases. That made me question, then why did Miss Sands stop her? Is Miss Sands familiar that that's the stepdaughter of the case that is defending the man who killed Miss Sands' sister? Now that wouldn't be wrong to stop her to check her badge, but the deputy himself, who has now been fired, he said, oh no, everybody here knows her, or I'm very familiar with her. That showed me one possibility that the media is overlooking is it wasn't wrong, but did Miss Sands realize that girl is working the case in the defense of the man who they're accusing of killing Miss Sands' sister because she had stopped her. Now the deputy that day, this incident happened on March 2nd, the deputy that day actually in his statement, his official sort of police report or sheriff's report, he verified the complaint of the girl. He also wrote in his report, yes, Miss Sands touched her inappropriately, but when Sheriff Kalin looked at the video, which is on all our local media, it seems as if that's a false claim. And now Mr. Kalin, Sheriff Kalin, I heard him on Lago, he was like, this is one of the most egregious things I've ever seen. You're talking about destruction of a woman's life, no? I would just simply say, they're going to look at it. The family is now saying that's not the video. That there's another video of another incident, which I don't know if that's true or not. Is this some type of retaliation? They want to have Miss Sands lose her job? Is it connected with the voter fraud that she rightfully exposed out of the city of Robstown, I felt the case against the young man, like I explained. You look at all the mechanisms of injury, okay? I see so many people on their phones in Corpus Christi driving, texting and all, and I don't do that, okay? And I get mad. I'm like, look, this is real common. But I also explain, like I just did on this video, when you have people that might actually be in a roadway, you still could find fault with the texting, but that could play a part in it, because there were many people who accidentally killed people. They weren't texting or anything. They were just on a roadway, and there was vehicles sadly broken down, and they accidentally did hit them because of those extenuating circumstances. So whatever is the result of this, I would just say now Sheriff Kalin is fired. From what I understand, the news reported last night, he fired that deputy, and that deputy is supposedly there for many years. I don't think the deputy would have colluded with this young girl. He probably believed her because she was so adamant, and they gave her a chance to recant. But at that stage, this young girl was adamant, and Sheriff Kalin is saying he believes other people have put, words in this young girl's mouth. It's sad, because you're talking about our legal system here. All this is with the lawyers, kids of the lawyers, officials at the Nueces County Courthouse, sheriff's deputies, police reports. It's sad because, okay, so I'll do this just quick update. I'm going to teach Colossians chapter 1. I want to go down somewhere where it's nicer to teach it. So that's why I was debating to do this quick update. And that was pretty much the world news. I mean, the plane going down. I did watch, Adam Schiff, who is the leading Democrat on the House investigation of Mr. Trump, which that has been now pretty much wrapped up, various investigations on Trump. But I heard Adam Schiff the other night on PBS News, and I've heard him say this before, because the House Republicans basically said, the majority report is, look, there was no collusion, Trump and Russia. Okay. Adam Schiff then got on and said, but he said this more than once, even Meghan McCain, Senator McCain's daughter, who's a news personality, also asked Mr. Schiff recently, the last month. They said, in so many words, Adam Schiff and the Democrats are saying, implying still, that there is enough proof that Mr. Trump colluded with Russia. And on the PBS show, as well as on a few others, they asked Mr. Schiff, does that mean you have some evidence that the public does not have? Meaning your investigation of the collusion. And he always says, well, it's in the public domain. So what he's saying is, everything that we feel that could show Trump colluded with Russia has already been reported in the media. Now, he's consistently said this. And his argument, now we use logic, but yet his argument on the PBS News show was, therefore we must continue to keep this House investigation open, because there are things that are already, if you will, in the public that are already revealed. But we want to keep it open sort of for that reason, which makes no sense. If you had evidence of Trump collusion with Russia, and you said, therefore we need to keep this going, but he's basically saying we just want to keep it, we want to keep the disorder going on over this for a long period of time now. If you don't have anything there that's not already in the public domain, then that's it, as far as that House investigation goes. Then Mr. Schiff, in this interview, he revealed a lot of things that I have said. He even said collusion is not a crime. He was admitting this. He says, and what Mr. Mueller is looking at is if there are actual crimes. He admitted that the so-called, quote, collusion is not a crime. Why is it? I can't do it all again. People interact with other governments. I mean, other countries. and the whole dossier was an unverified document that one party used in connection with Russia to actually get false information. That it's called opposition research. It was fake. British spy. They paid for it. You could say, well, isn't that illegal? Isn't that collusion? They're getting away with it, the other side. It's not considered a crime. Even if you're presenting false, the problem with that whole thing was then that false dossier was used. And make no mistake about it, it was used to get a FISA warrant on a man named Carter Page, but that was to get incidental, meaning once you listen to one guy in a campaign, one person working in any campaign, then you're going to listen to just about anybody he speaks to. And that's the problematic thing. But I saw that British, and I think this is becoming a huge distraction on real things. Britain, Theresa May, Prime Minister, she just expelled the Russian diplomats, 20-something of them. Has to do with a former, it's interesting, he was a Russian spy. He was a Russian spy spying on the behalf, I guess, of Britain on Russia. Now, this man and I think his daughter were poisoned. Then they did an investigation, Britain did. And Britain said the poison that was used is only poison that basically is developed in Russia. Therefore, in their investigation, because Russia went against the spy, why would they go against someone that's spying on them? We executed people that were spies. Meaning, there were American citizens in this country who were spying against us. We executed them. It's the famous, I think it's Rosenberg case. The husband and wife, the children are still alive. Infamous case. Meaning basically countries that feel or find out that others are spying. We had that Israeli spy by the name of Polak, something like that. The U.S. put him in prison. I don't know if he's still in prison. Basically, when we find other people that are spying, we retaliate. We either execute, the case I mentioned, or we put you in prison. And this man was an Israeli. So it was considered a friendly country. So, did Russia retaliate in a different way? And they deny it, and even the other party, in Britain's parliament, said there's questions. We got to be careful. Now Russia's denying it, but even one of the leading opposing party of Theresa May in Britain said there's questions. And the media jumps on this thing. They already got Trump. Are you saying you're going to deny the evidence? We had a disastrous war, and it was all on fake intelligence. And they changed the whole region, all on fake intelligence, okay? It's Iraq war. And how the media continue to say, well, we have intelligence. Can you question it? You better question intelligence. There are forces, if you will, and people that really want to see a war with Russia. There are people that want that. And we've been manipulated. I just gave it up one case. So that's something in the news right now. All right, let me do this quick update. God bless everybody. Oh, I'm still on. See.